The self-proclaimed real deal. What's up, everybody? Welcome back. So I just have a quick little upload today. I just have to address this situation. It's been going on for like months now, but today is supposed to be the day that this guy's book was being released. If you don't know, his name is Sean Scott Hicks. So he's a guy who I honestly don't even know what the true story behind him is at this point, because there's so much like just nonsense and craziness that has been attached to this guy's name. And the point of the video that I'm making today is not to really personally attack him, because I didn't make a video. I honestly was gonna make a video when this first happened, when the guy first reached out to me and contacted me, because there's another channel and a guy who does a podcast. He's from Lowell. I'm not gonna say the name of the actual podcast. I'll put the visual up, but YouTube's been weird with like different words that I say. But his name is Mike Lee. He's from Lowell. Guy's got, I think he's got probably 1 million followers on Instagram. He's got so many followers on Instagram. I used to follow him when I used to do Instagram. He's hilarious. He does not get that many views on YouTube, which is a surprise. I don't know if his podcast is on a different platform as well, but they've been tearing into this Sean Hicks guy for months now. And after it started, the Hicks, it was Hicks. Like it was some weird account profile, and he was trying to act like he was Hicks's manager, but I'm pretty sure it was just probably Sean Hicks himself contacting me. And so I was confused by the whole situation, so I had to go back and look at like the podcast and find out what was going on. But basically, I'm not making this video to just trash this guy, and I don't really like to get caught up in the drama and negativity, but I just want to kind of address it more for the fact that I don't understand how over the years all these newspapers, magazines, like it's not just one like media outlet. It's numerous different outlets, through different various sources of media that keep like repeating this guy's stories over and over again. So much so that it's become like accepted, and that nobody even background or fact checks it anymore. They just say, oh yeah, he's the guy who did this and did that. And then now they've made a book about his so-called exploits, and it's like a big name publishing company. Blackstone Publishing is like a very legitimate publishing company. They're it's not some like little underground basement that's pumping out books on Amazon. This is like a legitimate publishing company. So today was supposed to be the day that the book was released. So I've been looking online. I don't know if they've held it up. I guess I was watching the last episode of Mike's podcast there, the guy from Lowell, and they were saying, people who've pre-ordered it, they're getting like messages that it's not coming on the day it's supposed to be coming or something. So he's not sure what's going on. They've been like contacting Blackstone Publishing. They've been getting all these people together that Hicks says are part of the story and this and that he's related to or worked with, and they're all like, we don't know who this guy. And like nobody is corroborating any of his stories. They're clearly fiction. I have run into his picture and his name on numerous occasions when researching for different stories. Like since I started the channel, like just typing in Winter Hill and Boston mobsters, like different keywords on Google, and this guy's pictures and stories will show up. And I remember just looking at him back in before any of this stuff was going on, and not knowing about any of the stuff with the book or his claim stuff. I just remember looking at the picture of him and being like, who the heck is this guy? I've never heard of him before. He looks like some dude you'd see like on Mass Ave. You know what I mean? Like how he went to his nephew, the member of Winter Hill, like associate of Whitey, and then it goes on and on and on. So not only is this guy like claiming to be, so if you don't know, let me give you a little background here. So this guy is claiming to be, so I don't know what came first. Like, was it the chicken or the egg? I assume he started probably with like the Winter Hill stuff first. Like, so he claims that he's Howie Winter's nephew, that as like a young kid, I didn't watch his ridiculous interview. He did an interview with that guy James English, and the interview's gotten like almost 200,000 views. So there's like a lot of people listening to this by in. I've seen if you look at him on YouTube, there's a bunch. He's been on other podcasts and stuff like that. So he claims that he's how he went to his nephew at an early age, like as a little boy, that he was, taken out of being a regular kid, playing with his kids, and they started training him to be like this, just like a secret agent type person for the Winter Hill, and he calls it upstate New England. Who's that? Like, who? I've never heard that in my entire life. Upstate New England? You mean like New Hampshire and Vermont and Maine? Is that what you mean? Nobody calls that upstate New England. So he said they used to bring him up north there in the woods, and he would, practice all his skills, and that they had like this secret facility, and it's like it's crazy, but it doesn't stop there. So that's what I'm saying. I don't know if maybe he started off with like the Winter Hill stuff, and some people bought it or accepted it, so he just kept spinning the yarn, because then he goes on to say that he's a rapper by the name of Ghost, and if you look on YouTube, there's no rap. I found one track that was probably him, and it's god awful. So I'm pretty sure it's him because it's so bad, and it sounds like it would be him. There's also a white dude named Ghost who goes by name Ghost who does freestyles, and it looks like he's like living in his car in the Boston area. So if that dude's listening, shout out to you. I hope everything's going well for you, man. But I'm not crapping on you. I'm crapping on the other Ghost. But so there's no rap videos. So but not only was he a rap at Ghost, he was in the group Made Men, like one of the most famous rap groups in Boston history. The almighty RSO turned into Made Men, Benzino, and all that. So he claims to be a member of this group, and people print this stuff. It's printed in multiple articles, newspaper, magazine, interviews are saying this. Oh, the Made Men rapper at Ghost. So not only that, he says that he was involved in the Paul Pierce incident. He's like, and they like, I've read in the Patriot Ledger. In the Patriot Ledger, that's probably the worst article of them all. There's so many falsities. Like, I hope the guy, I don't hope anybody loses their job, but like, how can you call yourself a journalist and write stuff like that? They wrote he was in prison. He did time for the Paul Pierce incident and blah blah. He wasn't a member of Made Men. He wasn't part of the Paul Pierce incident. He wasn't at the club that night. He had nothing to do with those guys. You think that there would actually be a white dude in Made Men called Ghost and nobody would remember him and he wouldn't have any, I'm like, how did I miss that? So this whole thing came about because back in January, like mid-January, I'm sitting here on my couch watching Leo with my kids, which by the way is a great movie. Adam Sandler and Bill Burr play like the class pets. It's an animation movie. It's funny. Anyways, you have kids, watch it with your kids. I'm sitting with my kids, and all of a sudden I'm looking on my phone and getting a bunch of comments all of a sudden. And I'm looking, it's the same user name, and it's on multiple videos. Just kind of blowing up my channel. And I'll put the actual, I took screenshots of them because like I figured, like minutes after the exchange of the comments went, the person deleted them off. They didn't want the comments on the channel anymore. So it hit me up and was like, blah, 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 Mr. Sean Hicks. And it was acting like it was like a person speaking on his behalf. Like it was like an agent or a manager or something. Mr. Sean Hicks wants to know why you don't pay him homage. What? Homage? What are you talking about? But you've made several videos about incidents that Sean Hicks. I'm not quoting it verbatim, but you'll be able to see when I put them over the screen. You've made several videos about incidents that Sean Hicks was a main suspect and he was involved in. And you don't. I'm like, all right. First of all, I don't know what you're talking about. I never heard of this guy. Once I looked him up after this guy hit me up, then I saw the picture. I was like, oh yeah, I remember this goon. The guy looks like he's on, like you'd be sitting on Mass Ave asking you for a couple bucks when you walk by him. I don't remember reading his name connected to any of the cases that I've researched though. So I'm like, oh yeah, I know who he's talking about now. But so he's like, blah, 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 this and that. And I'm like, what are you talking about? First of all, like I said, I don't know that he's connected to any of this stuff. I never read that he's connected to any of this stuff. So I'm not leaving him out on purpose. Second of all, people usually contact me and are like, dude, why are you talking about me? Why are you putting my name out there in a video and connecting me to a crime? They get angry about that. Not the fact that I left them out of a crime. Nobody's ever contacted me and got mad because I left their name out of something. You know what I mean? When I first started the channel, I learned the hard way about, what I can say and what I can't say. I made some people very angry that you don't want to make angry. So I've gotten a lot better at that. So I'm like, dude, first of all, people don't want me to say their name. They don't get mad about me saying their name. So that's crazy. You don't. That right there is a real red flag that this person's not a real person from that life, because they don't want you talking about them if they're really about that. So I don't know. I was hanging out with my kids and watching a movie, and the tone of it, like he was like pressing me. I didn't like it, so I got like a little defensive. I was like, dude, this is like ridiculous. Like you want, first of all, like I don't know what you're talking to this guy. I do thorough research. He's like, they're trying to say that he was a main suspect. So this guy, the person who's contacting me, which was obviously Hicks himself, was trying to say that he was a main suspect in the Blackfriars. Dude, he must have been what, like 14? Blackfriars happened in the late 70s, dude. Right? Or the early 80s. So yeah, it happened. I made a video about it. It happened a long time ago. It happened like 1978 or something like that. So, I mean, this guy's not that old. So he was like, what, like 14 when he was involved in that? So he said that one specifically, the Blackfriars, that he was a main suspect, and I didn't talk about him in that one. That was a video that he left a comment on. Then the Paul Pierce one, of course, because, not only was he active like in the 70s with the Winter Hill. He was active as a little kid in the 70s as Winter Hill. He was one of their main steppers at 14 for Winter Hill. But then he also I left him out of the Paul Pierce video, which the only time he's mentioned it is these ridiculous articles where they're actually interviewing him and talking to him, and they're saying, oh, Ghost from Made Men, who was a main suspect and did time for the Paul. That's the only time you'll read it. When you actually read the case files and the police reports about it, he's not in there because he wasn't part of it. And then the best one is he commented on my history of Boston rap. How can you talk about the history of Boston rap and not talk about Ghost, Bob? Because, dude, there's no rapper named Ghost. I mean, there is a rapper named Ghost from Boston. He freestyles in his car. I've seen his videos on YouTube. But there's no Made Men. There's no rapper from Made Men called Ghost, dude. Okay, so that's why he wasn't in my video. There is, though. Oh, geez, I just looked it up. Hold on a second. I gotta find it now. What's it called? Test Human. So he does have a group called Test Human, which is like, I don't think the dudes on the podcast that rip him apart, I don't think they knew about this because they would have loved this. So he, a couple of years ago, started a band called Test Human, which is basically just trying to rip off Rage Against the Machine. It's like a carbon copy of Rage Against the Machine. And the music starts off, and I'm not gonna lie, he must have got like an actual musician, or they just stole some music from somewhere else, because the guitar music comes on and it sounds normal. It's not bad. They're showing high production value, pictures of like all the protests that were going on a couple of years ago with like BLM and stuff. So they put all this footage in there, and it looks, halfway legit. I'm like, okay, let's see. And then they show it's him. Like I can't tell for a fact, but it's him. He's standing in front of the microphone and he starts singing, and it's like, oh, yep. Here we go. Trash. It's like a joke, So I don't know. He was probably trying to do something. So this guy just kind of, I feel like he goes away every couple of years and comes back out into the light and tries to recreate himself into something else and tries to push something. And, that's what I'm saying. Like, I am definitely making fun of him a little bit. I was going to try not to like tease too much, but it's so ridiculous. Like, and the way the guy was messaging me, and he's trying to tell me like, we should work. Well, first he's like hitting me up on the comments and messaging me, and he was like acting like he was on the dude's podcast, the guy from Lowell. Like he was on his podcast as a guest, and they were like talking about me and saying, oh, this kid's making videos about stuff and not mentioning my name. And then I go and watch the actual podcast, and he's not on there. They're just like tearing him apart, making fun of him, like putting a picture up with like a clown nose and clown hair and stuff. And it's like, dude, they're making fun of you. You're not like a guest on the show. Like, you just want me to kind of do damage control for you and make you sound like you're something, you want me to make it sound like that these guys are wrong and you're really what you say you are, but it's not. And that's the fact, is like, that's the main reason why I'm making the video. Is I don't understand how some dude like me, who's a clam digger and started making videos as a hobby, has like more journalistic integrity than like these big name publications that are printing these articles about him. And then I like, over the years, he has built this up, and people they don't even fact check or do background checks to make sure what they're printing is correct. I wouldn't do that. I get like destroyed if I mispronounce someone's name. So I take it really to heart, and I try to make sure I like double, triple, quadruple check stuff like like 4 or 5 different sources to make sure, okay, is this real or did this guy make a mistake? Because people make mistakes, and other times people want the story to sound better than what it really is, so they know it's not 100% true, and they still will put it out there. But whatever. So, but the fact that this guy not only has like carried these tales on for so long through so many magazine and newspaper houses, but now he's made it into a book. It's just, and by Blackstone like publishing it, like I said, it's a legitimate publication company. It's mind-boggling. I almost have to like give the guy a little bit of credit because it's just like kind of an amazing feat to make up such an elaborate, like ridiculously, anybody who really like would know or has like a grasp of like the history and knows like the area would know that like that's not true. Like there's no way that any of the stuff he's saying could be true. That's why like when he started hitting me up and commenting and the stuff he was saying that he was involved in, I'm like, dude, no, it's not. No way, Jose. So I don't understand how newspaper articles, magazines, and now a publishing company, they don't even bother to check. What do they check and just read the fake articles that have already been out there? Is that like what they're checking? You know what I mean? That's what I'm saying. Is like, what kind of fact checking are these journalists doing? Are they just looking at other bogus stories and be like, oh, yep, right there, yep, that's it. What you're saying? Oh, yep, I'm corroborating it with this article of other bogus BS of what you told another journalist. Do you know what I mean? It's crazy. Like how somebody just can't be like, who met him, just be like, this guy's so full of it. Unless he's really that good when you meet him in person. He's that good of a con man. Some people are that good. They are. I guess he swindles people all the time. They talk about it on the other podcast about he like beats people in jail for money, and he's just like the police. One state police trooper called him like I forget what the voice. Some sort of like master liar or whatever. He's a fearless liar. That was what it was. He's a fearless liar. Like the guy has no fear in the lies he tells. He doesn't, and I feel like he's so fearless in the way he tells it. He just is like looks you blank in the face, like stares right in your eyes, and will just say, "Yep, there's people that can do that." And I've had relationships with people that can do that. Just look you in the eye and not blink and just lie, and it's like you believe them because I don't know. It's a rare ability that some people have. But this guy, so I'm I'm really curious. Like, is this book going to come out? I read in the comments for the podcast that Barnes & Noble, I guess, is saying now that it's going to be available in December. So I don't know if maybe they pushed it back out. Black's Publishing could still release the book, just release it under fiction, because it's a fictional tale. It might be entertaining for some people to read, and they might think it's a good story. I mean, the guy's he's a creative storyteller. I'll give him that. So possibly they could release it as a fictional tale, but you can't release that book as like a nonfiction and say it's true and keep perpetrating these ridiculous stories that are like so far off base. They're so far off base, they're not even true. Like, this guy wanted me to make a video about him and like keep perpetrating these lies and reinforce his stories, and also he wanted me to pay him $100,000 a day to do that as well. That was his daily fee, is $100,000 a day. He wanted me. Dude, I've never paid anybody a cent for anything, man. Dossier Dave has hooked me up with emails from like for like months now, for a long time. Other people hit me up now on social media and stuff and give me info for videos. Like, I don't need to pay for stuff, and especially don't need to pay someone to keep reperpetrating these lies that have been told over and over again. It made me so aggravated. I was gonna make a video right away about it, but then I was like, I don't know. I don't want to get involved in this nonsense and the drama and stuff. And I really don't, and I probably shouldn't even make this video because I'm sure he's gonna see it and probably cause trouble for my channel to try to, or something like that. Like, I'm making him look bad. He's just like, I don't know. It's not really, like I said, I'm making fun of him, obviously, because it's just too hard not to. But I am more just like, come on, like, to the journalists out there, like, do you need to make a story sound good that bad to put something out that's so like ridiculous? And like, I feel if the dude with the podcast from Lowell didn't start making this book would have been released, people would have been talking about it, and his big fear was that it was going to be turned into a movie. And who knows? Because people love that stuff. They make Black Mass and these stupid movies, and everybody wants to talk about Whitey. And they just made another Netflix series like a year ago, and they had Boston on there, and they have Whitey and Bobby Luisi. And it's like, come on. So it's like, they probably would have made a movie. Oh, this is great. Yeah, look at this Irish guy who's raised to be it's beyond ridiculous. So I just want to make this video because I don't know what's going to happen with the book. Like, really, they shouldn't. It should. I don't like say it should be like a crime or something, but you gotta have like a little bit of integrity. Like that's what I'm saying. Like, how can I have more integrity in this little YouTube channel that I've started here than major publications and publication and publishing companies, and who knows? Like I'm saying, if like a Netflix or like a streaming channel or something bought that to make a movie out of it, like it just would have been ridiculous. There's so many good stories from the city of Boston and the state of Massachusetts that you don't need this nonsense. Like I make videos about all the time. We don't need to talk about Whitey and Bobby Luisi and now Sean Hicks, because it's just like, I mean, at least like, you know, I don't even mean to put Sean Hicks in the category of Whitey and stuff, because at least Whitey was the real deal, even if he did all the other stuff, whatever. So I don't want to get too far off track. I just wanted to make this semi-quick upload and just kind of just throw my 2 cents in, just let you guys know if some of you weren't aware of the situation that's unfolded. Because like I'm saying, not a lot of people are watching my man's podcast over there on YouTube unless it's on some other platform. People are just listening to the actual podcast. But it's a crazy situation. I personally was affected by it because the dude was hitting me up and trying to get me involved in it. And I'll get involved, but not in the way he wanted me to. You know, I'm sure this is not the video that he wanted me to make about him, but none of the stuff he's saying is true. He wasn't involved in the Blackfriars. He wasn't involved in the Paul Pierce. He's not a famous rapper named Ghost that was part of Made Men. None of that's true. I don't think he has any association to anybody from Winter Hill or Somerville either. So I think everything he says has no, I don't think there's even like a shred of truth to it. Like I said, I don't even know what his actual backstory is at this point. So I hope you guys enjoyed this quick upload. Just give you, maybe it was a little entertaining, give you guys a little bit of a laugh, or inform you guys of a situation that you didn't know about. But hit that like button, subscribe if you're not subscribed. Thanks everybody for the support. That video I made a couple weeks ago is just blowing up. It just hit over 50,000 views. We went from 7,000 subscribers to 8,000 subscribers in like 5 days. The channel is booming right now. Thank you guys so much. I'm so grateful. Have a great day. Make good choices. Make good decisions. Take good care of yourselves, your family, your friends, your fellow human beings. Try to have a good day. I'll talk to you guys soon. God bless.